Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your weekly virtual TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Where they go over all the shows, documentaries, movies released on streaming over the past week. Give you our best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. And of course, at the end of the show, letting you know what's coming out over the next couple weeks so you too can create your very own watch list. Joining us as always is Señor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, que pasa, what it was.
So frustrating to be a fan of Columbia these days, man. Jesus Christ.
Muertos is the word I will use for those who may understand what that is. But whatever, we'll talk no such negativity here on this show except for the sucky shows, which is possible
Alright, that's
today.
fine.
It is what it is. We still got Comic Con a couple months, couple weeks.
A month, 30, 45 days or
45
so.
countdown of Comic Con, so it's
We
usually
got
excited about
the
that.
fantasy league again, up and running, making moves, talking to GMs.
Well, that
My
good stuff.
boy, JD, bring me another title, dude. Let's go for the quad squad. Let's do this.
That said, if you're new to the channel, we're here every Sunday. There's always something to watch. I don't care what anybody says. Joining us here will let you know what it is. What are those things, shows to watch? Of course, hit the like button, subscribe button. If you're not new to the show, welcome back. We appreciate it here again every Sunday on the watch list. Let's do this, Chewy. Let's start off here. We're staying in the theme of sports since we kind of were on that theme right now. And that is kind of a reality show on Netflix that dropped Power Moves with, of course, Shaquille O'Neal. You know, the big Aristotle, the Diesel,
Shaq Fu.
Steel, Shaq Fu, you name it. Of course, and alongside him, Adam Iverson, of course, Shaq, who is president of, which I didn't know that, president of Reebok. He actually owns a lot of companies. He's president of Reebok, and he made Adam
Well,
Iverson
Reebok basketball.
basketball
Or,
shoe.
yeah.
Yeah, the shoe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, my bad.
Not actual
Not the whole
president of Reebok. Yeah.
conglomerate of Reebok, but just a division of course, the Reebok of the shoe and all that. Adam Iverson, he named his vice president, and they're trying to kind of bring Reebok back from the depths of nowhere because they are a distant one number they are. I know Nike's obviously the powerhouse there, and that's not probably never going to
Well, I
change
mean,
either.
I
You know,
completely forgot that was sold to Adidas. Adidas bought out the shoe or
hmm
the basketball shoe division. So that's why I fell off because I completely forgot about that little nugget.
Yeah, and the Reebok's just like kind of fad. So now we have Shaq obviously trying to build that brand back up, trying to get the big names, prospects coming up to kind of build Reebok back to prominence, if you will. So it chronicles that. I'm a Diesel fan. He's a funny guy to watch and all that. But Chewy, your thoughts on this reality show here?
No, man, this is a fun watch. Actually, I've enjoyed it. I mean, Shaq drives the show,
Yeah.
but it's interesting to see the basketball business world, right? The shoe world, right? And what goes on with signing folks or how they're kind of starting from scratch in
The
regard to the
strategizing
basketball,
and who to
yeah,
approach. Yeah,
division
yeah.
and starting from, okay, what's their strategy, who they're targeting, who, what new guys, G League, WNBA, etc. How they're trying to brand the shoe. Obviously, bringing out a brand new shoe, right? The Engine A, that I guess I'm not sure rolled out this year or last year. But kind of that everything that goes to that the creative process, and then once you get through all the technicals of the product, then how you market it and brand it and gain following and gain, traction in the business world. Right, that's the name of the game. It's about making money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a fun watch. I think if you're a basketball fan, you know, advertising, marketing in that field to some degree, or starting up in that field is actually a cool watch because shoe is all about branding, right? It's always been the way since the early '80s, or maybe probably even before then, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's a good watch, and Shaq is funny, and it's cool to kind of see him maneuver those waters. So I appreciated it for what it was. Next one, we're not going to talk about all the shows that got released. We're going to streamline the show a little bit this week. But we got
For 2 weeks, and someone was on vacation last weekend. But
vacation. It is what it
I'm
is.
just saying,
Sarah is the next show we'll talk about that got released this week. Again, we'll stay with Netflix for a few shows here. Sarah, Woman in the Shadows is Italian show, right? Yeah, Italian.
Italiano,
Tell you what, a woman who is part of some covert police organization. They don't quite say exactly what it is.
undercover, yeah,
Undercover
undercover
group
work.
or whatever, whatever it is. Special investigations. There we go. I guess she had left the team, whatever, and her strange son, who she left when he was 7, finds out that now he was run over by somebody and died. So now she goes into investigation of who and why. And I thought the show was more about that. And after the first episode, which I liked the first episode, because it kind of bookends the beginning and ending scenes. You're like, oh, that's interesting, but then it kind of that investigation spearheads its way into another investigation involving political and business powers, et cetera, et cetera. Chew, your thoughts on this one?
Do not watch this dubbed. The dubbing is terrible, dude. The dubbing, and not that dubbing's bad. The dubbing acting is horrendous. You have to watch this in Italian
Most of the
because
time it is, yeah.
if not, you will jump off so fast. It's not even funny because it's just over. The over voice acting is just bad. It detracts. So I switched it back to the Italian and started paying attention. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than watching it, listening in English, dude.
I, I actually watched it in English because I was like, I wasn't. I like the first episode was cool, but when it kind of veered away from that, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll leave it at that. I became less interested in the other investigation part of it, to be honest with you. And I find it a terrible show, but it's not one I'm recommending. I mean, this is one that did you like this more than I did, or obviously it
No, it was
seems like
okay. It
maybe.
was middle of the
Okay,
road. Middle of
okay.
the road. Yeah.
I thought so. This one I
But
probably wouldn't recommend
watching
it.
it dub made it like below Mendoza line. I'm talking. Let me watching
Well,
it Italian.
that's fair, and I didn't switch over. I was like, oh, I was doing some stuff. So it is what it is, but it didn't capture my attention enough to warrant me to switch over to the original Italian language version of it.
Gotcha.
Next one we stay on Netflix. It's The Survivors. Is another mystery, and it's the shenanigans occur even in the land down under. Of course, an Australian show. They're having the Vegemite and listen to men at work and all that. That's all about. That's all I know. Koalas
Vegemite.
and koalas. That's all I know about. Of course, besides the obvious Sydney and Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef. This one here we have a young man returns, a wife and kid who's been away for about 15 years and returns somewhat close to the eve of the anniversary of when his brother and a friend of his died, drowning boat accident, and he may have been loosely responsible for their deaths. And there's another girl who died in the same day, which no one has mentioned. So there's a young woman who's investigating that. She ends up getting killed. Now dark secrets arise about what actually happened that night, not only with his brother and the other kid dying, but with the girl who was also found dead. Both girls, I guess, found dead. Chewy, your thoughts on this six-part, this limited series, I guess, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. This is limited series. I'm only two in, so it's better than Sarah, because obviously I don't have to deal with the dubbing. I can understand Australian
Fair,
English,
fair.
but yeah, I mean it's how I'm having a hard time staying focused on it. I'm not sure why. Not that it's a bad show or not interesting, but
No,
maybe it's a little too much of a slow burn uh, for my liking.
it is because I mean it's not like a murder mystery. Wouldn't be the right. There is elements of that. This is more
Well, well,
family
or
drama, I
it may be
guess.
because we don't know if it's really an accident or not.
Well,
So
fair enough.
technically,
Well, the one girl
yeah.
got murdered. Well, maybe she didn't
No,
get
no,
murdered.
because
Because
the friend was murdered. I mean,
one,
the lady. Yeah.
yeah, the
So
one the investigate whatever young girl investigating. It's more of a drama because the kid comes back and the family, the whole system, a very small town in Australia, and they all kind of know this
mhm.
incident. It's not celebrate the incident, but they remember this incident. And there's a lot of issues with, of course, the kid coming back home and his involvement, and people resent him, and the family's mom resents him. So there's a lot of that. It's fine. I've seen three. It's fine. It's not a terrible show. It is better than Sarah. So if you're looking for a drama to pick up, I would say this one way over Sarah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, agreed.
But again, it's not a great show. The mystery is just not as interesting, at least now, thus far in 3 episodes in. There's only six, so the gears should be rolling by the middle of the season. Bait and
Yeah, when you're
essentially.
six
Yeah.
episode, limited series, you need to get your attention first half of
Right. Yeah.
episode one.
The accelerator needs to be pushed down. And the first episode is
Yeah.
okay, but it just doesn't really go beyond that. It's fine. It's an okay show. It's not a bad show at all, but I'm not saying I recommend it. I'll talk about a couple more here. First one here is one I was
Oh
excited about. Oh,
first,
sorry.
you gotta talk about Rick and Morty, dude. How do you not open the show with Rick and Morty, man?
Well, this
Shame
is
on you.
always good. It's like 20
Shame on you,
seasons. If
dude.
people aren't
Shame on
watching
you.
Rick and Morty, they're not going to be watching Rick and Morty. Let's be honest. And those
Oh, well, come on, you
who
still gotta
watch
talk
Rick and
about it,
Morty
man.
are going to like Rick and Morty, as we like Rick and Morty, because Rick and Morty is awesome. It's great. You know, and
I am not liking the fact that 2 episodes in, where the fuck is Jerry, man? What the f?
yeah, this
What is going on here?
that does concern me. about
Okay, so that's number
the
one.
remainder of the season, but
Yeah.
it's early to maybe there's a
So
storyline
it's
in there
early.
somewhere.
It's
Yeah.
only 10 episodes. Don't give me this early. It's 8 seasons in. And
No,
number
what I'm
two,
saying as far as this season, maybe he's gonna be
yeah.
re I don't know.
Number two, great to see Birdman back with Bird Daughter. He's always a
Yeah,
plus. Um, but there's this. So I thought this was going to go back to the linear story. I mean, yeah, Rick and Morty's always been about you watch individual episodes, right? And they have nothing to do with each other. Mr. Meeseeks, great episode, right? Uh, we get the flashback, but there was always a connectivity, right? There was a story behind it, right? Either chasing, or trying to find out who evil Rick Morty is, or evil Rick. I mean, so there was a connectivity. Once we got past that, it's like, okay, now we got this 2 episodes in, and there's no connectivity to anything else. It's just episodes.
it's very
And I'm
episodic,
like,
right? It's a little bit different. Um, it's still good within itself,
I
right?
mean, yeah, but bigger
Obviously,
picture. I mean,
and I think that's what I'm concerned about. If two in, I'm gonna keep watching it. Obviously, I'm gonna finish
oh,
watching it
yeah,
because it's still good, no doubt. But let's see if the gears change in episode 3, 4, 5. Moving
or
forward.
something. I
There's
mean,
8 left, so I mean, maybe I don't know. It's concerning, but that
yeah.
said, the show's
I
still
mean,
not bad,
last
right?
season when they killed Evil Rick so quickly, I was like, okay. And then there
Yeah,
was like it lost that a little bit of that cachet, right? Well,
sure.
of his motivation, per se, right?
Right.
Uh,
It's definitely missing the loss of what's this guy's name who was, got canceled or whatever.
I don't know if that's it because he wasn't
I,
involved in it before that much,
I
from what I
mean,
hear, aside from voice acting.
I'm sure he had some kind of input, but it is a coincidence maybe, but it just happened to occur at the same time he had
I
his
think it's just
issues.
quit. I think it's just quit.
Maybe,
That's just coincidental
perhaps,
because
perhaps that may be
the,
the
the
case,
story, the
but
story, the story will kind of drives the overall. And now that you don't have, unless they go back to fighting evil Morty again, I mean something's missing. There's something missing.
no, I
Now,
agree.
now,
I,
now,
yeah,
first up, I love the first episode more than the second episode. To be quite honest, I love the whole
mhm.
Matrix. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
That was
that's
just
cool. Yeah,
hilarious, dude.
yeah,
All about borrowing his cord. I was like, return your cords, dude.
that was good.
The second episode was okay with Space but I mean, I'm gonna see what tonight's episode is, and that should hopefully give a better idea of what to expect.
I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, the show's definitely. I think 'cause I think we agreed the last couple of seasons have taken a dip. I don't know if it's the last season or not. I
No,
don't
it's
know.
not. It's
I
not the
I,
last season.
I think it probably should be. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I
I
think
mean,
it's got like two more because they did like a 10 season contract, so it's not
okay,
finishing.
okay. Well,
So
I get it. It needs to improve, no doubt about it. But
yeah,
it's still Rick and Morty. I'm still it's an enjoyable watch.
no. Like this is great episodes. I mean,
This is obviously past the prime show, is what it is. But it still has a little left in the tank.
well,
That's the thing.
so yeah, well. I mean, so it kind of I heard this somewhere where they made a comparison to Seinfeld, right? And the first 3 seasons, it wasn't there was no connected tissue with it was just individual episodes.
Yeah, it was early.
And I think after that, then they started connecting the story, like with the sitcom, where that was like in the background, right? You saw individual, but you start developing a story, something behind this driving the show forward. And that's when it became, it was just Seinfeld. Like then it became Seinfeld, right? Must watch TV. And so now that we've lost that with this and through 2 episodes, I'm concerned a little bit, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the show, I think, has it's on its last
Yeah.
legs, right?
Yeah, there's no more.
It's
There's no counts to the Ricks, which is great. When everything
right.
counts to the Ricks out the
Of course,
Citadel,
I mean,
that was
yeah,
great, right?
like yeah, anything else, most shows have a peak and they go down. It's just how it
Yeah,
works, right? And I think
yeah,
after 10 years, it kind of hits that point. Whatever, it's rare. I mean, something like Simpsons is rare, but Simpsons hasn't been great in a long time. But they just kind of chug along, right? I don't want to see Rick and Morty just chug along for the sake of just having it on TV.
well, I mean, it's like
At the end of the
South
day,
Park.
right?
That's been good. That's how long has South Park
Yeah,
around?
that's probably one of the few shows that not as consistent, but still been good for a long time. It's rare.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is. It's not a common thing. There are outliers, and I'm not sure Rick and Morty is one of those outliers.
Okay.
Ultimately, at the end of the day. Um,
Well, just bring Jerry back, dude. Make me happy.
yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. I love it. We all love Jerry. Doesn't love Jerry.
That'd be great if they introduce evil Jerry. Man, that'd be awesome.
They need to bring. I agree. They need Jerry back. So hopefully that's again. It's 8 episodes left. Let's give him a chance to do that.
Okay,
But either way,
okay. I'm just saying.
let's go to Hulu now. on a movie. I thought it was a series for some reason. It's a film,
Oh,
which is better
cool.
because
Yeah.
I got to watch it all in one shot, so even better. Predator, Killer of Killers is the same guy who did Prey, which is a big surprise on Hulu. That's
Hmm.
the live action version of Predator, kind of bringing that franchise back to respectability where it needs to be, and a new one's coming out. Hopefully that's good. This one here, of course, animated, kind of has three different timelines going on here. We got like Japan in the 1600s, kind of the samurai, kind of
Yeah, feudal
ninja
Japan.
thing.
We
We
have
have
the
the
Vikings,
Vikings,
circa 900,000, maybe 800, who
yeah,
knows? And then 1940,
yeah,
40s,
World War II
US.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Three different individuals, different kinds of warriors. We got a pilot in 1942, and then we got, of course, a Viking warrior, the leader of a clan, I guess, and then I guess a young samurai warrior or whatever. Ninja is kind of warrior. Each one dealing with a certain type of predator, and then the story they all kind of all three attack. The stories converge with all three characters now off planets where the predators are, and I'll leave it at that. Not to spoil too much of it. Um, this one I really like, man. It's really cool. I like the animation, graphic as hell, some cool action. I liked how they. Cause I was thinking, okay, I thought it was like some kind of anthology series, and I liked how they brought those all three characters together. That was really cool. And there's even a little nod at the end. It's a little after credit scene tying this back
Yes,
to Prey.
it's a big nod, not
It's
a
a big
little nod.
nod, and I was like, "Oh snap, that's very cool!" Right? For those wondering what would happen after the events of Prey, there we go.
You get
Right?
an
So
answer. Yeah.
yes, and I like this. I really build the lore. A lot of these movies don't build lore of the predator. We seem unless you go into comics and all that. As far as the films and all, we don't get this. We just know it's a predator. He likes to hunt. That's for the most part it, right? Here we kind of go off planet, see more of it, see different kinds of predators, which is kind of cool. I enjoyed it, man. That was really good. That was really well made. Again, Predator is I love this franchise. It's been around for a long time. It just hit a slump for a while, and it seems like it's getting back to a high note. Hopefully, this leads into Badlands Predator coming out, I think in August. But I enjoyed it, man. It's a cool watch. If you're a Predator fan, must watch on Hulu. Chewy.
Yeah, I agree. This was a great watch, man. It was a lot of fun. The animation was top notch. I mean, good story. I like how they connected it all. Because I was watching, it's like, okay, what's going on at a different time? And then, my
Yeah,
only question is, did they are they time traveling or did they just pluck them and put them in like isolation chambers,
that's a
right?
good question, right? They're all different times. I would assume they didn't get into
But
that,
no,
but
actually, I just answered my question because
oh,
with that nod at the end, there's got to be some
oh,
time
you're
travel
right.
element because it's not linear,
Correct,
right? They couldn't
correct.
just pick one up and then
Yes,
wait years until
yes,
the next one. So
correct.
because they had one that was like that happened before World War II, like okay, no, then it has to
Yeah.
be. There's got to be some time travel elements involved in this. Which hey, yeah, I don't mind, right? It's
No,
sci-fi.
it's cool. Like they didn't jump. Like they didn't really get into it. So
No,
there's
no,
no
no, no,
risk
no.
of
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. That's terrible. So it's good. You kind of just make like you said, just you infer from what they show you.
Mm.
But that's great because again, that's part of the lore, right? What the predators are actually doing. It kind of added to. They're just not out there hunting for the sake of hunting.
But yeah.
There's something else behind it, which I find fascinating for I guess those who are successful against the predator, right? So that was a really cool aspect. I like that a
and
lot.
and they introduced more because we've seen the movies, right? The Alien versus Predator. I think there was two Requiem and which were I don't know whatever. Um, and but they we and through the other Predator movies, we've seen certain weapons, right? They obviously
Sure,
we know the mask and they hunt
word.
via thermal heat, right?
Right.
And the
Well, different.
laser one
They got different visions too. In the second one, he had
well,
like all
yeah, yeah,
kinds of
yeah. It's cycle,
yeah,
ultraviolet, whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now we get more introduction of different weapons, right? So in the
That was
Viking that
cool.
have that big, I
Kind of
guess,
like
pseudo cannon wave, right? It wasn't a
yeah.
laser, but it just like a shockwave type weapon. We had the guy in the samurai world with the spear that's split open.
That was really
That's
cool. Like I
like,
said, it was really cool stuff. Like
yes.
I wish they had this as live action. It would have been dope as fuck. And maybe they
Well,
do. I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe something like Badlands, which seems more like a predator going after other
Hmm.
predators or whatever it is. It'd be cool to see stuff like that. But I'm glad they did it here because again, it's expanding on what we know and make it even cooler. Right? That's the best part.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then tying into prayer, I thought was Chef's Kiss at the end. I was like, oh, cool. That was a great little touch there. Kind of tying this world together. Same director, so that kind of made sense.
I'm almost
Um,
positive they're going to be at Comic Con. So
That'd be cool. And I we'll hope that do to continue another one of these in animation. I thought that was really good and kind of continue the story with the girl from Prey and kind of just bring it all
Oh, they
together.
have to. They can't just
They
leave it
have
like
to,
that.
yeah.
There has to be a
That was on
continuation.
purposely, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good watch for sure. Absolutely, again on Hulu, about an hour and a half at best.
Yeah,
So
hour and
it's
30. Yeah,
yeah, it's an
137.
easy watch, very streamlined, quick, gory, really good stuff. The last one's go to Apple Plus. Apple's been cooking, man. They've been cooking lately. There's a lot of good stuff, and I'm not sure there's one of them. We'll find out in a second. That's a show called Stick. This will stars, of course, Owen Wilson, him and his crooked nose here, once again taking center stage. He is a ex golf pro, whatever the case is. Now he's kind of down his luck. It's been a long time since his heyday, and needs money. He's getting divorced from his wife, but it was nowhere, and he maybe potentially finds the meal ticket, a young kid who's some young stud, Happy Gilmore-esque stud, and he wants to bring him on his ring, take him on tour, make him a champion, of course. And at the same time, put a little coin in his pocket. Ain't nothing wrong with that. 30-minute episodes, 3 dropped. Chewy is this, what I keep saying, this the Ted Lasso of golf. Let's just calm the hell down with that. Chewy, though,
Who's saying
that's
this? Who's saying
I saw
who's saying
like,
this?
like when advertisers, Ted Lasso and golf. You see those little things that are put out there, ridiculous. Let's not get crazy. But that said, doesn't mean it's
Well,
not good. It's bad.
let's build up to that. Everybody, chill, okay?
No, you know
Uh,
how it is. People get excited. But Chewy is
I
this
know.
good show.
Everyone who's the next Tiger Woods, I get it, dude. It's always about comparing to
Yeah, they always
something
want the
great.
next show. I
Yeah.
get, you're right, absolutely. But yeah, what do you think about the 3 episodes dropping here?
No, man, this was great stuff, man. It's the comedy is on point. I mean, Owen Wilson is great when he's funny, but Mark Maron, dude. I mean, we haven't seen him
Mark
since
Maron,
Glow.
he's so
Uh,
underrated. He's I
oh
think
God, oh yes,
yeah,
he's been around forever.
he's been a long time. But
He was in
he did a movie or
Glow.
so. Yeah, he did a couple
Yeah,
movies after that. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, but Glow was the last TV show that I remember him from, which was canceled too early, and that was a Netflix, one of the great Netflix ones back in its day.
For sure.
Um, and so, but he was great in it, and it's good to see him here and being Mark Maron. This is who he is, right? That signature voice, that attitude. He drives a lot of the comedy, right? And actually, he is
Yeah.
he is a stand-up comic, if I'm not mistaken,
He
or
is. Yeah,
has
yeah,
that
yeah.
in his
He does. He does. Yeah.
history. So he
He does
does.
stand up comedy. He's got a podcast, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, I'm loving it, dude. The story's good. Like I said, not terribly original, right? Finding the next prodigy, but still how it's going about, and the we're bring Owen Wilson, enter with the mom with various people. He's kind of pseudo little scam artist a little bit here, a little con artist
Yeah,
action going
yeah.
on.
They
Uh,
hustle. They hustle.
yeah.
Yeah.
That Corvette get banned, dude. I mean, come
Oh
on,
my god.
that's terrible.
It's a disgrace.
But it's good, man, because yeah, it shows has that little bit of a tin cup feel,
I was gonna say
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But
A
obviously
little bit.
there, he's just golf pro, and this guy's really was at the top at some point. You saw his magazines and his trophies, and then obviously we found out he had some major, I mean major public blow up on a tournament, and I think that was the end of his career at that point because he couldn't
Yeah.
recover, I guess, and that's a big mental aspect of the game, right? And that's a big part of what's going on so far, but also the relation building that relationship with this new kid, and he sees something, but it's raw, right? It still requires a lot of work
Yeah,
and,
the
and
kid's
coaching
like
to get him there.
he's 17, 18. He's like super
Yeah,
young anyway. So,
yeah. He's a young
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
but gave it up. I get he had some tragedy with his dad, gave it up, and then all of a sudden just picked it up again and got this covered. So like I'm really interested in the story, but it's making me laugh, and that's what's good about it.
Yeah, listen, I won't go as far as say I love it. I mean, it's in the same tone as a Shrinking and Ted Lasso tone. It's not, don't mix my words here. It's just not as good as their shows, but it's in the same kind of tone, right? If you enjoy Ted Lasso, which you should, if you enjoy Shrinking again, which you should, this is a good one, right? A good substitute for that. In the meantime, I enjoyed it. It's funny. Owen Wilson, Owen Wilson, it's him, Ryan Reynolds, and what's this guy's, and Vince Vaughn. Kind of when they do that, the usual stick, it usually works. Even what's around them doesn't work, they work, right? They just do, right? And that's when they're at their best. Owen Wilson doing what Owen Wilson does. I guess Mark Maron's great. Enjoy the show, and yeah, it's predictable. We see this kind of story before. This is not new, breaking ground here, but it's funny. And again, a comedy like this, like with Shrinking and Ted Lasso, it's the characters, right? Some really cool character. The kid is cool. He's likable. You kind of, you feel for him and all that stuff. Owen Wilson, despite his hustling ways, he's still a lovable kind of guy, right? He's always like that, you know.
The hustle,
Uh,
dude.
the mom, that was a great hustle, of course. The mom, she's a cool character, Latina, so we got to
But
root
the
for that.
first
We'll,
hustle is hilarious, dude.
yeah,
At the bar.
with the
Oh,
hit the puck, a putty
yeah, yeah, yeah.
at a
Hit this
bar.
hit.
So yeah, that was a good story. Listen, it's funny, it's entertaining, it's light, simple. It's 30. Like the first episode, like 40 minutes, but then the next couple like 30, which I think that's the way it's gonna be. I would
Yeah,
assume the rest of the
yeah.
season. Enjoy the show. There's the Apple, Apple's cooking, man. Let them cook. Let them do what they do. They're being consistent. A show here and there lately, like something like what's the show with the guy came out of jail, which is the only one I kind of wasn't high on. Government Cheese. There you go.
Oh, that was yeah.
That was
That
okay.
was
I
such
was
a
like,
weird show
it was
for
a weird
me.
show. But the
Yeah.
others have been hitting. They've been hitting it well. What it be? Obviously the one with we had this some friends and neighbors. I thought ended really well. Really liked the
Oh,
show.
that's
And
good, man. Yeah,
yeah, it
that's good
got
stuff.
better and for sure got better and better. No doubt about it. But they've been doing really well. They've been hitting out of the park, man. So good for them. This is a really cool show. Not a great show. Maybe I mean, it could be great. It could end up being. Cause I think we're gonna get
Yeah.
to the emotional beats as we get deep into the show, right? I had a feeling I think we have an idea how the show is gonna go, and that's okay.
Mhm.
But if it executed well, I think we can get a really good show out of this. But so far, really good start. This is dropping on Wednesdays. So yeah, that was it for the week. So there's a couple of really good things in there for you guys to check out. A couple weeks, we got a lot of stuff here. A lot of documentaries. We got a couple off the track, off the bat. On the 10th, we got Trainwreck. This is the Astro World tragedy, of course, the concert that they had the.
Well, no, this is actually a four-part documentary, so it's four different events. So
Oh,
every
it's 40
Tuesday
things.
they drop. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's kind
okay.
of like Untold, right? We had like three
Untold.
episodes of
Okay.
Untold,
Okay.
right? Those all sports-related type documentary stories, kind of like 30 for
Um,
30.
right, right.
Trainwreck is obviously more in the non-sports stuff. So like, yeah, the Astro World tragedy. One of them is on one of the Canadian mayors or something. So this like
Okay.
four unique, for I said 4 weeks, 4 episodes.
Okay.
But
So
it's
weekly
documentary
release.
series,
Okay.
yes.
Fair enough.
And,
Okay. So
and
the
as we
first one.
said, it's looking at a train wreck, right? Quotations.
Right, of course. Yeah, that's basically the theme of the show, right?
Yeah,
So I guess, but look, why not? Netflix does good documentaries. The other
yeah,
documentary
hell
coming
yeah,
up
yeah,
on the 11th is Titan. This was
yes.
also regarding, I guess, a tragedy. We had this little submersible, some small
Yeah,
submarines.
the
I forgot the name
commercial
of I forgot what they're
submarine.
called. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
was on track to go
this
down to the
guy, he
Titanic.
wanted to create his own, use a carbon fiber body, right, and try to make commercials go down to the Titanic. But usually, the idea was to make it more commercial submarine, right?
Hmm. Right.
Make it private. I actually saw one, the one that came on Discovery this week or last week, right? And after watching that, I really want to watch this, see what this one adds to
Okay.
it. I don't know if you need to watch both, but that one I had because the
Probably
guy
not,
who
but yeah.
does the Expedition Files was actually was going to be part of one of these episodes, actually go down on one, and he's so
Mm,
happy he did it, man, because these guys, you come to realize why accidents happen sometimes, right?
well, of
Sometimes
course.
it's inevitable. Sometimes people make mistakes, right? Sometimes it's more nefarious than that.
Pure negligence and yeah.
But this one was like I think a combination of all of that,
Yeah,
where
it's actually an
this
interesting
was
story. Yeah.
100% preventable because sometimes these guys, you know, they're bigger than life, want to be bigger than life, think they're the smartest person in the room. Maybe they are, but that's because you seem to forget. There's the right way and a wrong way how to proceed with a new product or something new, right? And
Hmm.
that's why there's within so many different industries there's so much regulations because you don't want to put something out that can kill somebody, right? And when you choose to do it your way and not look at the signs and not follow the signs and go ad hoc and go Western style, shoot first, ask questions later,
Hmm.
this is what happens. And it's not an accident. It's negligence,
Negligence. Yeah. Irresponsible.
manslaughter at
Irresponsible.
worst, yeah,
Yeah.
beyond
Yeah.
irresponsible. Because when you choose to ignore, you know,
Well, that's fair. Yeah. You're right.
proper
Yeah.
minimal protocol. This guy, when I saw the guy from Expedition Files talk about, it's noises and loose cables and all this stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, what what is going on? And people who are there to protect were they're essentially ignored. at the expense of just pushing their idea and make money. I don't know if he would make money was his motivation, but he just wanted to be, remember we're doing something great, and
Of
now he's going
course.
to be remembered for being a complete, fuck
Yeah,
up because
it
he
was
killed people.
yes, it's a very interesting story. So I'm very
Yeah,
curious how their approach to this to documentary.
yeah,
On the
absolutely.
12th, to change gears, we'll stay with Netflix. It's Food Bar season
Hell
two, of
yeah.
course. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the legends,
Yeah,
icon
and
Schwarzenegger.
Trinity now.
That's
Trinity's in
true.
season
Carrie Ann
two.
Moss coming back as the villain role. Of course, is Schwarzenegger is an aging, clearly
Mhm.
agent whose daughter is also part of the agency as well. Funny show, a good kind of action comedy. So I really enjoyed the first season. So I'm looking forward to the second season.
Oh
On
yeah.
Prime got a movie, Deep Cover. Good cast here. Orlando Bloom, Bryce Dallas Howard's in this as well. I think this is this some kind of I think it's like a heist one. Am I wrong with that? I didn't see
I
the
didn't want to
trailer to
watch
be
the
honest with
trailers.
you.
I want to watch it clean, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it has a really good cast in this as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, that's a movie again on Prime. Again, Prime, I think out of the like with Apple and Netflix who released more of the films, Prime is the worst one when it doesn't go theatrical. Out of all three of them, Prime is the egregiously bad a lot. So I'm
We'll see.
hesitant on this one, but we'll see
Well,
exactly.
well, they have another one coming up too in July, I
That
think.
one
Where
I can tell right now it's gonna be bad, but we'll cross that bridge. There's no reason to jump ahead of that for sure. But
uh,
that's a
I'm
guaranteed
just I'm just
bomb
saying.
right there. Horrendous. It looks horrendous. I guess straight to they are the worst ones for sure. Revival on Sci-Fi as a show coming out. Great premise.
That's
Uh,
something we don't talk about often.
yeah, there's one where listen, I'm not a huge
Not
sci-fi
not
guy.
since Mansquito.
Since obviously Mosquito, Sharknado. This is in the heyday. Speaking of peaks of sci-fi, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the
I'm not sure if
heyday is when they had Expanse, and then they canceled down and it went downhill from there.
relax, dude. This you got
That was the
Mosquito,
heyday, dude. Stop with the Sharknadoes and Mosquito
Sharknado,
crap,
and
dude. Stop
everything
it.
else is
Stop
just
it.
noise.
It
It's
was
just noise, right?
Expanse, and then
Yeah, I don't have
they're
to say
goodbye.
it.
No, but this is
Uh,
actually this is based on
it's a cool premise.
the Image comics, if I'm not mistaken, or
Okay.
whatever, right? There or a graphic novel.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how to refer to comics now. If you say it's a
Well,
comic or it's a graphic
I don't
novel,
know. It's a
but it's
premise
Image.
story. How's
And if
that?
you know anything about comics and the company Image, you know what the kind of material they put out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Spawn, right, which was came out '90s,
yeah, huge heyday.
with yeah, and great, and they tried to make a movie terrible. That cartoon animated series was great, cut too
Mhm.
too early, too soon. Back in the
Yeah,
back, really, I would
HBO.
go back to the heyday on HBO.
Yeah,
I wish
HBO. Yeah,
I wish it would revive that. Actually, give me a good animated series for that,
fair, fair.
updated with current animation. But so this is based on an image IP. So I'm looking forward to it. It's on Sci-Fi. Ugh, I don't
That's what
know.
concerns me. This is one I might
Yes,
wait to see what you say. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I don't want to go in the rabbit hole.
Is the
I
budget
might
there
avoid it.
because Sci-Fi is not known for high budget productions,
Correct,
really. I
correct.
mean,
But this one
I
here, I
think
guess this is a cop who I guess is discovering people coming back from the dead, but they're not really
yes.
zombies. They're just who they are, just acting differently. It's an interesting idea. But I might wait to see what you say about it before I jump in
Yeah.
the water with that one. So
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree because if it looks terrible, if this has, I don't want it to be. I think the last show that was trying to be serious was the Ark, and that was so cheeseball.
that
It
was
was
not
like
good. Not
that
good.
was like that was like
Yeah,
legacy Star Trek cheese.
yeah,
It
it
worked
was.
in the '60s. It doesn't work now.
Yeah,
It's just its acting was terrible, and so this had the sci-fi
yeah.
budget. So
That
I'm
show
hoping.
Arc was not even as good as the partial bits of the show we get in Murderbot. That is
For real.
doing. But that's and then on the 13th we got Mentiras, Spanish show, Mexican show. This is actually based off a musical. So the show is going to be a musical. So people already are tuning out already as we speak. I'm sure the minute I say
Oh, is
musical.
it? I didn't realize that.
Yes,
Whoops.
there
Okay.
you go. So
Well,
take
I'll
it for what
watch.
it's
I'll
worth.
watch.
I'll give
I'll
it a
watch.
shot. I mean, some musicals I do really enjoy, some I don't. It just really depends. So let's see. We support Latino Brethren, so we're gonna check it out and let's see if it
Absolutely.
captures our attention or not.
Absolutely.
The following week on the 16th, you got Nat Geo, which we don't mention that very often, or Hulu or Disney, I guess, same thing. Uh,
Well, I mean, I think Nat Geo live, and then the next day on Disney
oh,
Plus
right,
with
right,
Hulu.
right. Fair
Yes,
enough, right. You can watch it on cable or not the
but
next
it's
day.
but it's it's narrated by Ryan Reynolds, so
Right, speaking
him
of,
be
yeah, we talked about that again.
Deadpool being Deadpool,
Yeah, so he
and
does.
talking about it's a nature documentary, but it's focusing on I guess underdog animals. I mean, not the
Yes,
not the marquee names per
right.
se,
Animals
right?
that people you really don't even see in these kind of shows, right? Documentaries or whatever.
Mhm.
So Ryan Reynolds is a setting point here. Just
Yes.
call it what it is, right? So let's see. We'll give it a
I'm
shot.
expecting I'm expecting comedy, so that's what I want.
Of course, of course. On Prime the 18th, you can't just have mentiras. You gotta have an English version of the word. So we were liars. It's just a YA show, which to me, whatever. But based off a book, I guess this young girl who, I guess it goes back, and her and her family go back to the same place in the summertime. And once she had an accident one time and kind of had a head injury, missing memory, yada yada yada. And I guess through her digging deep, she finds out there's a lot of secrets and blah blah blah. Right? So whatever. Let's see. The 19th, we got the Waterfront. This one here, it kind of reminds me of, not say Landman, that might be the right one, but there was one of the people who had the cattle ranches.
The Australian one.
Yeah, the Australian one, yeah. This one, not instead of cattle ranches, there's people who are in the fishing business,
Mm-hmm.
and the father is sick, and now the family's struggling. They have to make decisions, questionable decisions to maintain the power in that field. Yeah, let's see. And then we got
Okay.
Olimpo on Netflix as well on the
This is
20th.
a Spanish, so I'm looking forward to this one. España.
Spanish
It
show. This is
has
yeah.
the elite feel, right? Not some. It's. I guess
Which
it
again doesn't get
technically.
me excited for me anyway.
Okay, well, fair enough. But
For me,
Spanish YA is not like US YA.
that's and I agree. That's definitely
It's a
more
lot more adult. It's a
adult.
lot
Yes, that's the
more
right word. Yeah.
sexualized, to say the least. So Elite was highly sexualized beyond belief. I was like, damn.
And this one
Um,
seems like kind of the same thing, right? In
yes,
terms
yes,
of that,
it
right?
has that
Yeah,
elite feel. That was on for like 7, 8 seasons. Very
yeah,
popular globally.
yeah.
The cast. Actually went like two different casts because they expand like 6, 7 years. But this
Okay.
one has that feel, but it's all but based on, I guess, Olympic level high
Yeah, it's like this
athletes, or academy
like an
when they're
academy that
trying
always
to.
yeah, all these
Yes.
athletes they're training for Olympics or
Mm.
whatever high level, and there's a lot of shenanigans that occur within amongst the
Yeah.
students and sexual drugs,
But
the
I saw that
usual
was from Spain.
competition.
I was like, okay, now I'm interested
No,
because I
listen,
saw,
if
yeah.
yeah, if it was an American made show, I'd oof, boy.
Yeah.
I can deal. I'll deal. We were liars. I'll deal with that, and that dealing with two in a single week. That's just not gonna happen. So, but it's a Spanish show, so I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's only 4 things coming out this week. So that week it's a short. Not a lot of stuff on that week, so I'll probably give it a shot. And, never know. Maybe it's good. I don't know. Maybe it's just elite and Chewy will enjoy it. Fair enough. But that said, so we'll talk about
Oh,
those shows,
well,
of
I
course.
do
And
want to
oh,
mention,
sorry. Go
I
ahead.
am watching the West, the history series on the
Oh,
Western series on documentary on history. It's really good, man.
it's good. Yeah,
You
Kevin
know,
Costner.
Kevin Costner's not the greatest of narrators,
He's
so
not, but
I wish it were Morgan Freeman, or hell, I'd
oh,
even take Ryan Reynolds.
everything
Uh,
should be Morgan Freeman. It's just
or Jeffrey Wright,
yeah, that.
maybe.
Oh, Jeffrey Wright, the other one, correct?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
okay.
always. Yeah.
But so I wish it was that. But nonetheless, the stories that they're I think obviously it's weekly show. They drop
Mm,
to the
yeah.
first week. It's part of their anniversary, 250 years of U.S. history and whatnot. But their approach they're taking, they're focusing on different people and events. Like there was one episode on Sitting Bull, which was really really great because I really don't know much about them besides what's the publicized stuff, right, of beating Custard, right, at Little Bighorn.
Mm,
But different stories, different things. Obviously, some bad, some not so good, and they don't mince words about the westward expansion. That's really drove all this, right? Um, and that, but it's very well told so far, very interesting and very unique takes on some of the stories.
right.
I think they had one on the Lewis and Clark expedition, which was really good because you really don't hear that or get a feel for that unless you really dig deep into some of the details and some of the other people involved in those and what happened to their lives. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually a good document. Again, it was the week. I thought it was gonna be all at once when I saw. It. I was like, oh, okay, I guess not.
No, 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 yeah.
But I forgot it's on
Monday.
history.
It's on Monday nights
Yeah,
on
History
History.
Channel. Right,
Yes,
and
History Channel. That's
yeah, and
correct.
initially I didn't pick up on it. I was like, oh no, that's all right. It's a weekly release,
Yeah.
non-streaming. So whatever. So listen, last we'll talk about all these shows in a couple weeks. And hopefully we get some gems in there. Maybe we don't. We'll find out. Of course, subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you guys next week.